This call is being recorded.
That's right. You heard her. My name is Tim Dameron. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach. And Natasha is a little under the weather. She may be coming in here shortly. But we also have Jamie. We got Jamie here tonight. It is so good to have you here. I mean, you were with us like, what, 2 weeks ago, right? Like 2 weeks ago?
Probably something like that. I kind of got lost in all the bushes of driving back and forth.
And I got to tell you, man, she's a survivor. She really is. And tonight, we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to be talking about a few things. The first thing I want to be talking about tonight is something that's really, really dear to my heart. You know, there's so many people trying to get remedy. You know, they're trying to get their cases handled. I mean, I'm one of those people. And I know you've been in that fight too. And we've been in it for a long time. I mean, you filed some big boy lawsuits. I mean, I filed some big boy lawsuits. Good to have you guys on the call, by the way. And, you know, and it's tough. It's hard. It's like learning another language without Rosetta Stone.
It's very true.
Right?
It is.
And you know, last week we talked about economic cohesion. And this is the weapon that they use. She made it. She made it. Welcome to the call. She made it. Natasha's here. That's what happened. That's why I had that brief moment of I just lost my masculinity for just a minute because Natasha's here. Sorry. She just drives up.
Oh,
now she left. Duh. It's okay. It's only because I know that she has a little bit of weak signal out there. So, but I always get excited when she shows up. She's great. She's like my sister. I love her to death. But anyway, you know, we've been through she's back. Are you with us?
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm so glad you're here, Natasha. Man, we were worried. I know it's not you. We started early. I wasn't, I got excited, man. I can't help it. But anyway, everybody's here. We're all waiting. It's cool. We didn't miss anything. And everybody's here on the call. Tonight, we have a very special call tonight, like I was telling you before. Natasha has a couple things that we always do on our openers. Natasha, welcome. And could you address the folks for us, please?
Absolutely. Today is Monday, May the 26th, 2025. I hope everybody's having a lovely afternoon. Thank you for joining us. As a small disclaimer, we'd also like to say this is for entertainment purposes only. This is our opinion that is expressed through our personal experiences. This is not legal advice. We do not promote drugs and or alcohol. So we just always ask that if you take anything under advisement, to do your due diligence and do a little bit of research. And if you have any questions, always contact us and ask us.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I just like the way she does it. This is awesome. I'm just so glad you're here. And I'm glad you guys are safe. Big prayers going out for Natasha. You know, they've got some power outages and stuff going on over there. They've had some big storms and trees fall and stuff like that going on. So we're going to be praying for you tonight, Natasha. I hope you guys hang in there. And, you know, if things get too bad, you know, you guys come down to Texas. We'll be all right here. And I mean, we've only got tornado watches here. So, I mean, it can't be that bad.
Can't be that bad, huh?
And today we had a tornado. Yeah, well, yeah, today I think it was San Antonio. No, it wasn't San Antonio. It was Waco and Hutto and the Austin area are under tornado watch right now. So that's like heavy. That's heavy stuff, man. You know, but you know what? We're just going to be praying for all that. And those of you guys that were on last night's Bible study, well, that'll probably make more sense why all that's happening. But moving right along. So we were talking about Natasha, and Natasha, you've known me for years. And, you know, we're always fighting to try to get ahead. We're always trying to get ahead on our cases. And I mean, I've spent over $15,000. Actually, I've spent more than that. I've spent into almost the $25,000 mark on just defending myself from those tyrants in Houston County. Just $25,000. And this is for a Class A misdemeanor that has a maximum fine of $4,000. My bond is $5,000 cash. I mean, this is what we're talking about when we're talking about economic coercion. When they put you in a position, okay, to where, okay, you're going to lose it all, or you could take a plea and take a hit, or you can take a plea, take a hit, take some time, whatever. But these things are happening because of economic cohesion. And this is, and Jamie, you've seen this happen too. I know Jamie helps people and counsels lots of people with their cases. She doesn't give legal advice or anything, but she helps people. And she's been in the fight herself. Your daughter's case.
Well,
and I mean, and swinging big bats over there. I'm telling you.
We're talking $90,000.
Yeah, 90 grand to be right.
And we're not done.
And they're not done. You know, and here's another, you know, Natasha, you know, the last time that I checked in with the Phillips family, you know, the Phillips up in Tyler, you know, they're chasing justice right now. Guess what their dollar amount is? $2.5 million. $2.5 million to be right. How much did Donald Trump spend to be right?
My.
Seriously. How much did Anheuser-Busch pay off our governor to be right?
A lot.
He did. And now Texas is going to get sued by everybody in the THC business. They're in trouble. Yeah. They're in big trouble. They're in huge trouble. Yeah, they're just trying to run over the people. And my point is this: they do these things by economic cohesion. Okay, they kick your legs out from underneath you. They make you so you can't move, you can't do anything. This is one of the reasons I teach my trust in UCC class, because it's not about you moving. It's not about you being restricted. It's about the trust moving and the trust not being restricted. And they can only tie you down. They can't tie your trust down. You know what? I had a divorce judge in family court try to tell me what bills my trust was going to pay. And I was like, I don't see your name in this anywhere. Should we send you down for a psych evaluation? I think so. I think something's broken. I think something's broken here. But my point is, we got a lot of reckless things going on. We got a lot of, I'm going to tell you, over the last 4 years, Jamie and Natasha, I've seen more lawsuits. I've seen more people standing up and going after these tyrants with everything they've got. Yes. James Freeman, Sheepdog 72 here in Texas. You know, these are people that went after municipalities, big ones. Okay. And in Almas Park, Texas, there was a group of men that were assaulted. They were tased and their stuff was taken. I mean, they took their guns, took everything, when these people had a legal right to carry up and down the street. But they said, because we have a township law, that's going to trump your civil rights. And I hear people all the time, Jamie, say that this is illegal. Oh, that's illegal. Oh, this is illegal. Oh, this is illegal. And just to clear that up, nothing is illegal until the issue is debated. Okay. Right. These people sneak in these laws while nobody's looking and everybody's sleeping at night, or they're at the Super Bowl, or they're wherever. They're doing all kinds of work. And they sneak this stuff in on us until we say something. And for the people that do say something, they go through hell.
Well, we're probably,
I know you've been through it.
We're violating, every American is violating several laws every day that they don't even realize. You know, exactly. Because we don't know about them.
It's a matter of if they're going to pluck you out of the pond or not. Really? Hey, we got one over here. That's it. Yep. Open up and doing it for 25 years. I don't care. It's going over here.
That's right.
And this is the game they play. So how do we fix that? Well, for those of you guys that have been doing this, we found an online resource that is like having a law firm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, AI is amazing. Okay. But it's only as good as the person that drives the boat. Okay. Your AI is only as good as the person that asks the questions. I'm just going to tell you that now. So I know everybody's got AI, but I went on to this, what was it? Esquire. Yes. Esquire AI. I set an appointment with them. I got on, and I think the pretrial, while you're in pretrial, there's a certain fee, and then they help you with stuff. And they don't give legal advice. Okay. There's no person that gives legal advice. This is all done by AI. Okay. So it's your job to make sure that, you check everything out. And, Jamie and I, we're good at checking stuff out. So
Yeah.
what did we do? We rolled the dice and we checked it out. And in 1 week, you guys saw on YouTube, those of you guys on Facebook, y'all saw what I drafted or what we drafted. Actually, it was what we drafted. It came from this. It came from this. It came from this website. It came from this AI, and it was absolutely amazing. And I was able to do. Let's see. We did. We got a ticket dismissed in Converse. We got a ticket dismissed in Converse, not the tennis shoe. We got it. And then some other people put on notice because they activated a fee schedule. All this stuff was done. Bar complaints were issued. What else got done? We fired a lawyer. We did that too. What's that? Oh,
wasn't there a lawsuit?
Well, oh yeah. And then with Converse, there's a Manel claim that was drafted too. Like, did you want us to draft a Manel claim? Yeah. You don't say no to that. Okay, do it. And then out it came. And I mean, I had to go in and fix a few things and get it right. But basically, the nuts and bolts, everything was there. Everything that I asked for was absolutely there. And these guys did a great job. I did a consultation and it worked out really well. And a lot of it's just online. A lot of it you're just going to type in. But I know some of the systems they said were not quite up yet. So it's a fairly new service. And this service is designed for people that don't have any money.
Yes.
Okay. If you don't have $90,000 or $2.5 million to go tell the truth, then guess what? You're just going to have to live that lie. And this is this economic thing that I was talking about. Natasha, what do you think about all this? You're like quiet over there. Is it crazy or what?
No, I'm just kind of taking it all in, and just like every key point that you're hitting on, unfortunately, my thing is whenever we're so uneducated as far as we go to school for 12, 13 years, they teach us what they want us to do, to raise our hands and stuff like that, is a sad part. And, then we get out work and all the good stuff. But this right here actually allows a little bit more freedom to be able to go in and start questioning, hey, do they have the right to do this? Even though I only make this amount of money, like you said, from knocking your knees from underneath you, I mean, it feels like there's some kind of justice prevailing from it, to where.
I mean, I think this takes the lawyers out of the equation. And I'm going to tell you, I think the lawyers are the biggest part of the equation. I think they're the biggest part of the problem.
Yeah.
Think about, you know what? I had a divorce attorney that I hired, and he told me, you should unblock your ex-wife and go in there and look for stuff for her and then tell me about it. Like literally just go stir the pot, because I mean, you already want to get away from her anyway. So, I mean, you always, obviously this is a bad deal anyway, but this one here wants you to go get all tuned up and talk about the days of the old and how how does that benefit anybody? But I'll tell you who it does benefits them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of see it to where, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, well, I know in previous calls and stuff, you've always talked about how your lawyers and stuff like that, they're nothing but actors. So they're acting as a part. And would it be right to say that they're acting as a part to where they can actually claim you more in bonds and stuff like that, and cause you to spend more money and go after your what do they call that, your Sesta VQ account, to where they hit that and make money off of you?
What they're really going after, and it took me a long time to figure this out, and there is that little error, but that's really not what they're going after. What they're really going after in a lot of cases is that they're trying to get Title 4D funding. If they can get Title 4D funding, they can send everybody after you. Okay. And this is how fathers are economically oppressed and destroyed. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And mothers.
And moms too. Yes. I'm so sorry.
There's so many family members now. It started out with fathers being more, battling custody cases than anybody. But now The courts are looking to see which parent's going to fight the hardest and put the money up. They don't care.
That's right.
It's ADRs all day and night. And it's these attorneys are not loyal to anyone but the courts. They are not. I've had 4 attorneys tell me flat out, we're not going to do the right thing because we're afraid of the prosecutor.
Mm-hmm. And this happened. I'm going to tell you, I had, okay, think about this, a Class A misdemeanor case. I had in the neighborhood, I probably called 100 attorneys, and 2 of them said they would take the case for 10 grand. For a Class A misdemeanor, they said for 10 grand, we'll take your case. And here's why. The judge set the per diem at 7,500. Why? That's that economic oppression I'm talking about.
Because they're going to steal most of that money anyway through, the back door. These judges and prosecutors and attorneys are they're invested. It is.
Well, they're invested in making the machine work.
That's it.
That's all that matters. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I will tell you, like in a situation where a father or a parent is removed from a child's life, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars can be allotted for that situation, depending on how much drama is created. And this is what they do. Guys, if you're going through some family court stuff, schedule an appointment with me at House of Yah. And you know what? I'll put you in touch, and I'll put you in touch with the right people to get you guys taken care of, and we'll help you out. Stop paying these lawyers. Just stop it. Stop it. This has to stop, Jamie.
I know if I had this site that we went to, I wouldn't have spent nothing other than this site.
Seriously.
It is that good. And I believe it's got everything we were talking about was corrected to the point past even an attorney's view.
Their aptitude went like, yeah, I agree. When you say past their view, I mean above their aptitude. Absolutely.
It's a 10 out of 10 on most of this information we were requiring.
And then the federal stuff that we filed, we filed some stuff. I have a $13 million lawsuit filed against Houston County. And for a little while, they got it dismissed. But now we filed stuff to reopen it, and we filed a restraining order against them. And this AI bot, I was actually able to whip that up like that. Now, information is key. Okay, it's not going to pull stuff out of the cloud. So this is why you got to have the interview. Because if you do the interview right, you're going to get all the right information. And the AI bot that takes all that stuff in, it's like a virtual person. And they talk to you and whatever else, and they get all the information. You got to make sure you have all your documents, which I did. And they did a beautiful job. Even on your case, I read your briefing, I read your appeal, and that was a home run. They're not going to have any choice. They've got to.
I agree.
And this is what we need. Okay. Are you tired when you hand over an attorney a whole bunch of money and then they tell you there's no guarantees? You already feel ripped off. The minute he says that, you're like,
well, the other part is how many of you pay an attorney and you don't get phone calls, you wait and wait and wait, or you don't get the right documents. Honestly, I'm telling you, 10 out of 10.
That happened to me. I paid Gary Churak in San Antonio. I paid him $7,500 to do this case in Houston County, just to take care of this little misdemeanor case, which really, truly, and honestly would be, if they did everything right, it would be maybe a paraphernalia case at the worst. And and the whole case is just saturated in nonsense. And what I loved about the interview process is that it was able actually to pick up something that I never even noticed. It picked up in the affidavit that this park that they say I was close to doesn't even exist.
Pretty amazing.
You can make up locations on an affidavit in Houston County, Texas. You can. Yes, you can.
What about that other part we were talking about earlier? The DO, what was it called? we found it brought more information in that we didn't even know about.
About the conduct of the deputy chief. Yeah, it brought all kinds of stuff. Well, I don't want to say too much about that because they haven't gotten the Manel claim yet, but they're going to get it.
It's amazing that
it was.
I mean, you don't have to do just the interview alone was huge.
Well, the interview was necessary, but what was even more interesting was the fact that it actually, how do I say this humbly? It went over. My aptitude was, and I consider myself to be pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. But I mean, we're both looking at like, what does that mean? And we're all typing this up and looking it up and this and that. And then sure enough, we go in there and we look at the rest of it and we fill it out. And holy cow, this thing did it all. So this is, you know what? Welcome to the days of Buck Rogers, because here we are. We're here. And you got Knight Rider in the car. You got Kid out in the back making barbecue. I don't know, man. This stuff is just really cool. But you guys that are in this process, you guys that are fighting these cases, if you're in family law, if you're in any kind of a case, so if you're in a civil case, civil lawsuit, anything like that, man, schedule an appointment with me. I'll turn you guys on to these guys. And I'll tell you, you can go to their website. It's Esquiry AI. That's ESQUIRY.AI. That's Esquiry AI. So that's where I went. Or I can help you too, because actually, one of the guys that created this whole thing is actually one of my students.
Not amazing. Right.
Well, he left his job at the State Department, and now he's working for nobody. Nobody at all. That's right. And anyway, so it was good to run into old Ron over there. It was good to see him again, and great to see all the stuff that he's doing. This AI program is like nothing I've ever seen. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to change the way we do things, Natasha. And here's the goal. Stop wasting your money with these guys. Yeah. These people are not giving you legal advice. I know they claim they are, but they're not. Legal advice doesn't, any kind of, look, if it's not usable advice, it's not advice. Just because somebody gives you a whole bunch of information doesn't mean that you can use it. It doesn't mean that it's good for you. And something that is given to you in advice should be something you should be able to use. Anything less than that is a ripoff.
Right.
I'm saying, would you agree, Natasha?
Absolutely.
I mean, because I'm going to do, like you were saying, Jamie, that Gary Churak guy that I paid the $7,500 to, I asked him for the evidence that was going to be heard. I asked him for the motions and the offer. They even made an offer, but I never actually saw it. And various other things that I asked for. And this dude never contacted me back. Never talked to me. Just took my money and disappeared. $7,500. And if I would have taken $7,500 from somebody, promised them service and didn't give it to them and just stopped talking to them, man, that would be a deceptive trade practice. That'd be something downright criminal.
It is. But regardless, I know that that's huge, but not regardless, but take that and run, because that's what we're getting is a big handful of nothing.
Exactly. And we're getting confusion. What was it? Hottie, what's his name? His friend, Chris's friend. He spent $3.8 million in attorney fees.
Oh.
Just to be right.
No.
And then they froze all, then the U.S. Attorney's Office froze his money, froze all of his accounts, and then basically said, if you cop to this little plea, because our case is weak and it sucks, that we'll let you have your money back. What's he supposed to do?
That should be criminal.
What's he supposed to do? Go get a paper route? I mean, how do you get due process? I mean, how do you get due process in that? No, you do what Willie did. You have a lot of friends and you just invite them all over and let them buy all your stuff back.
But again, the part that excited me about this Esquire, .ai is Esquiry, is how quick it was, but more than that, how clearly efficient and everything was. I couldn't see anything outside of what we didn't need.
Well, and not
Right, it
only
was
that,
like
but
that.
well, it was, and it was able to draft termination letters for Gary Chirac. I got rid of him. And then in my divorce case, the opposing attorney, that's a long story, but anyway, they did some really wrong stuff. And it was able to see all of that. And not only was it able to put that information in the motion for sanctions that it recommended, by the way, which was really cool. Not only did it do that, but it also drafted a bar complaint with the proper everything. I mean, with like if you look at if you go online and you go into the website there and you look at how to do it here in Texas, when that thing printed out, Jamie, it's exactly like following the worksheet that you would fill out online.
That's really
It was
awesome.
amazing.
So we are really excited. I mean, honestly, I'm telling everybody I know because who has time for anything less?
I'm saying.
Because if I had that for my daughter's family case, could you imagine?
Everything would be different. Everything would be different. She would have never had to leave town.
2 years of this.
I'm saying. But I mean, it took 2 years because this is the game they play. This is what they do. So you guys that are learning this process and going through some of this, what you're going to learn, and if you're a smart person, you're going to learn this quickly. You're going to learn that you need to always be contracting. Whenever they send you something, you need to respond to it and always ask for your lunch. Always ask for your milk money. Always, always, always. And when you catch them slipping, when you catch them in dishonor, you give them a Christmas list to default on. And I'm going to tell you, that's exactly what this program is going to do for you. It's absolutely wonderful. I got it drafted a letter for me. Hey, what's up, Ricky? Ricky's on. She's actually on right now. Yeah, she said, I, you know what? I was very flattered today. She called me today and she goes, "I thought you were my dad." And I was like, "Oh, that's so sweet." I haven't heard that in a long time. But anyway, I thought it was super sweet. And I was like, "Well, are you okay?" Because I'm still a dad. I mean, I could help.
By the way, I'll be your dad for a minute.
Yeah, no, she goes, "No, you can't be my." Basically, like, "No, you can't be my dad." But
oh,
nice try, Hot Rod. I'm gonna call my dad. And I was like, "Okay, call your dad. That's so cool, man. Whatever, man."
Yeah,
but hey, I was flattered for just a minute, though. She's so super sweet.
Well, I'm glad she's on here. I always tell you, I want her to learn all this information.
This would have changed everything for her. And I'm going to tell you, one of the things that I learned in my personal case with my daughter, with my divorce, is that this Title 4D funding, it's what makes these guys go absolutely nuts.
It is.
And they will spend stupid amounts of money to enforce whatever nonsense is happening. Last year,
because they're making so much money.
Correct. Last year around this time, I have a student. Well, she's still a student of mine, still a friend of mine. Her name is Arnesia, and she's a grandma. She's like our age. She's a young grandma, I guess. Anyway,
Well,
she's in her 50s. She's super sweet. But anyway, and but her grandson had been with her and she'd been pretty much raising her grandson like for a really long time. And then all of a sudden, the parents are irresponsible and not doing what they're supposed to do. And CPS got involved because of neglect. Grandma Arnesia went back to go get her grandson, and they said, Why? Because they had already gotten all this Title 4D funding. This child had been taken out. He was in foster care. No reason for being in foster care. And I'm going to tell you, in Texas, whenever you remove a child from a house, family always has first dibs on that child. So for them to say, we're going to move them over here, that was a pretty bold move. And they did this for Title 4D funding. Jamie, I helped her prepare a lot of her documents. And the hardest thing I had to help her prepare was her judicial notice and showing all these pictures and detailing. Yes. I couldn't even look at him. I just tell me what it is and I'll type it, because I didn't want to look at it. I just broke down in tears, because to see this little boy, 2 years old, in this funding racket, and this little boy had bite marks all over him. And I'm talking about in intimate areas where mouths shouldn't be at all. Okay. And this child is 2 years old, Who deserves that? And
But it's not about the safety or the interest
no,
of the best interest of the children. You guys have to understand how deep this has really gone, and that because they turned these courts into the private side of these courts now, they're not using. You cannot get a jury trial. You're not allowed to bring in the Constitution. You're not allowed to
no.
talk about anything other than what these, people in fake robes come in. Basically, they're real estate people during the day, and they come in as ADR, and they're just, playing that role. There's
Well,
no true judges
this is
on the
can I
most
tell you?
part.
I mean, they're there, and the judges are there, but the problem is that the attorneys that are in the courtrooms, oftentimes more often than not, there's a relationship that shouldn't even be there. And because of that, it's a mentoring relationship. So basically, that's their daddy up there. So guess what happens when you remove that, and you remove that element? Now the actors have to act on their own without a script. And the only thing they can follow is their programming. This is where we're going to win, you guys. This is how we get our families back. This is how we get this Title 40 crap out of our courtrooms. And we start going back to courtroom proper decorum like we're supposed to have.
We have
This
to.
is how we get there. This is how we get there.
You have to hold them accountable. And I know that seems like the big battle right now.
But it's not. We've got a whole thing on administrative claims that we're about to roll out here at the House of Yah on all of this stuff. So all the classes that I've been teaching before, they're still going to be there, but we're going to do a lot more. We're going to talk a lot more about administrative claims. And why? Because I'm doing them. Because I'm doing them, Jamie. I you know what? I'm getting it done. TCOT certifications removed from, and how do we get these places defunded? Well, it's kind of like a domino. And if you knock down the right domino, it knocks down all the other dominoes. And then next thing you know, they're running around with little tasers like Star Trek. Yeah.
It is.
And that's okay. Okay.
It's like, how do you fight this? You take one bite at a time, but you don't stop.
We get rid of the lawyers is how we fight this.
Amen.
And I'm going to tell you, these guys, they're doing it right. Because at this rate, everybody can afford to take care of their business.
Yes, and the rates are a little bit different.
Everybody.
We really don't know all that yet. He's putting a lot of good stuff in there. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this.
And I'm loving seeing what they're doing too. I mean, I am, and I'm super, super excited about it. But
if people have this to do any part of any case, it's not as scary. And a lot of these cases, you don't even have to appear.
No, if you do it right, you don't have to appear. We did this special appearance in Converse this last week, and my ticket was dismissed in 3 days.
Yeah. Well, same with some of the criminal stuff, like some of the cases.
And I wasn't supposed to be in court until October.
Right. And most of this is it's a chess game anyway, but it's documents.
That's right.
So,
it is. Well, it's a contracting game.
Yes.
And you just got to be on the right side of contracting, and we have to know how to contract. Now, speaking of that, I'm going to change gears a little bit. Speaking of that, I have a UCC and trust class that's going to be tomorrow night and the night after. This is about setting up your foundation, okay? Like we were talking about last week, they look you guys up, okay? Before they want to come sue one of you guys, they're going to look you up and see how many houses you own. They're going to see how much real estate you own. They're going to see how many vehicles you own, okay? All this stuff is public notice, and they all can look it up. That's a little bit hidden, but for $29.95, you can get a lot done these days. I'm telling you.
It's amazing.
Shoot, I looked up Kenny Plaster for $29.95 and found out he was on a government watch list. No kidding.
Oh my God.
$29.95. That's cheaper than a movie these days, and popcorn. That's still cheaper, and it was just as entertaining.
So, can we put this information for these folks to get in there yet, or can we?
I think we can. I don't know. I know that I called in and did. I think you can set up. Yeah, if you go to esquire.ai.
Well, yeah, and then Yeah, I think. Let me look.
So it's ESQUIRY.ai, correct?
Yes. Well,
So
I
it's
have.
Irie,
Hmm.
ESQUIRY.ai.
Yes.
Go set an appointment. If you guys got court stuff going on, go set an appointment, man. These guys are going to take care of you. And you know what? This can stop. I mean, this has to happen.
Takes that brick off your back and your chest. I mean, to
Well,
have that little bit of help and not feel alone and not feel like you're being, you know, like
bullied,
yes,
gang stalked, bullied. That's been me, been you. I felt like that.
And you don't feel like you feel almost stuck. And you know, when you have an attorney and you're depending on them and they're doing nothing but burying your case, because that's what they do to keep you there. They have to line their pockets. They're going to make your case go along further, and they're going to keep telling you got to pay more money. We have to have more money for this part of your case, or this, or to bring this person in to advise you, or to do a child parent meeting. You know, they do all these charges, and honestly, it again, let's remember, folks, it has nothing to do with justice. This site it'll take away your fear. It'll give you a boost in confidence, and it makes you just feel happy.
Just don't drink the Kool-Aid. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm drinking.
That's not true. That's not true. It sounded like that though. But like we were headed there for sure.
Oh, it's
no, I've got to tell you, man, it is really good. You should check it out. They've done a wonderful thing for me. And if you guys want to set an appointment with me, I mean, I can point you in that direction too. I can help you out with all that stuff. I'm happy to do it. I got to tell you, it's the best thing ever. Look, we get these lawyers out of the way. They'll stop shaking everybody down. The only reason that they're shaking everybody down is to keep this commerce wheel going. You know that there is more lawyers leaving law school right now than there is places for them to work. So we got too many lawyers here.
Absolutely. I heard they were supposed to start going by common law, but then I don't know whatever happened to that. That was a short little minute I heard about that.
Well, you know what? That's good that you brought that up, actually, because a lot of people really don't understand what common law really is. A lot of people really don't get it. And there's too many people out there that confuse people and they don't even know what it is. You know what I mean? You'll see these people on YouTube and they're like, I'm traveling in common law. Look, it's in the back seat of the kid. You know what I mean? It's like they act like that. No, it's in the glove box. No, right here. It's in the glove box. No, really, look. And look at this phone book full of papers for you. Now read that.
And can you read this before you give me a ticket?
Yeah, right. And I know you're about to take me to jail and break my window, but before you do that, would you read? Guys, we can stop all that. Okay. We can close this disconnect between us and the police. And here's how. If you understand equity, understand that common law, equity, uniform commercial code, all the same thing. They're all the same thing. And they all have a necessary equation. And it really, Jamie, what it boils down to is who saw you do it. So if you have all these witnesses that said you did it, like the post office, because you mailed it, and you have your firm mailing book and he signed it, and you have your round dater copies and they were copied, then you know what? You got something that's witnessed and you've created a record that's uncorruptible. This is another problem we have in our courts is that they go in and they, with the record, they throw it everywhere.
Well, excuse me, it would be like this one story, you know, this marshal who decided to make up, the so-called, I guess you would say affidavit is what she filed, and that she. And she's the one that filed the warrant and the probable cause.
She did what? She filed a warrant and probable cause?
She was the one that claimed to be harmed, but she filed the probable cause, the affidavit, and then nobody else filed any. No, there was nobody that. She was the only one that claimed it.
Well, you know what? Those of you guys that take my travel class, we go through a travel and administrative claims part of our class. And there's a book, actually a free book that you guys get with my class. It's free down, or you get it's a PDF, but you get the book. It's free, and it's going to show you exactly how all these public officials are wired. So not so you can go in there and talk crazy to them and tell them how smart you are. You know what? You will leave Yahweh's blessing right out on the front door if you do that. But if you walk in there and you're quiet, you're humble, and you watch them act, you'll know what their next lines are going to be. This is a very good class. Now, I got to change gears just a little bit because I know we've been talking about Esquire AI, but tomorrow night I have a UCC and trust class. I have one seat available. So if you guys are interested in learning how to operate in the private properly, how do we set up our lives for it? How do we get everything together for it? Okay. This isn't theory time. Okay. I've done it, been doing it for the last 9 years. I've had great success with it. And it's a foundational class. Those of you guys that want to learn how to discharge your debt, you got to have the right vehicle. If you don't have the right vehicle, you're in trouble. You don't believe me? Go take your grandma's wheelchair down to the local drag races. I don't care if it's got a battery in it or not. Doesn't matter. Take it down there. You may have 4 wheels and ignition and maybe a little motor, but that's not going to get it done. Why? Because it's not the right vehicle. Tomorrow night, we're going to be talking about this actual thing. And I do have a fairly full class, so I only have one seat left. If you guys are interested in getting in that class, call my office tomorrow between 9 and 4, because after 4 p.m., that's when the documents are going out, Central Time. If you guys are interested in jumping in this class, it's going to be call my office tomorrow morning, 210-605-0144. That's 210-605-0144. I have one seat left. And in this class, like I said, this is a foundational class, okay? There's a lot of people teaching UCC and trust, okay? There's a lot of people talking about trust. But I don't see any of them that have like a 6-year record of doing this and doing it properly. I don't see, I have a 9-year record, but I don't know anybody that's got anything that's saying that, hey, this works, okay? I'm that guy. I got the deeds, and I'm telling you, it does work. When I went through, I had them try to put a lien on me in New Mexico through the taxation department. Yeah. It lasted for like a week and then they took it down. Why? Because I took myself out of the public. Okay. When you take yourself out of the public, that means you're not available for contracting. Now, who does your contracting? Not the living person. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people think that we need to divorce ourselves from the straw man, throw them in the trash, take the U.S. citizenship and throw that in the trash too, and just be the naked man or the naked woman walking around on you. That's not gonna get, and your kids are going to hate you for it. Seriously. The rest of your family is going to think you lost your crackers. I'm serious. This is not the way we do it. The way properly is we learn how to operate both sides. Natasha took the class, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and she's been doing it ever since. And my goodness, I hear the reports every week. Every time I talk to her, it's okay, this is working. This is happening. This is what it's supposed to do. And she's doing big stuff, right? I mean, she's building houses and all kinds of big stuff like that. But she's doing it through her trust, funding it back through her trust, not for herself, not to make herself wealthy, but for her beneficiaries. And I'm going to tell you, this is the difference between what I teach and what other people teach. When you talk about putting your stuff in trust, that means it's not yours anymore. And I'm so up to here with these teachers and their micro trusts and their mega trusts. And they're basically these big schemes, and they are schemes, okay, to basically put you on the end of laundering all of your money and giving it back to yourself.
Right.
How selfish is that?
Right. That's what they're doing.
And how's Yahweh going to bless you doing that? Are you going to go to church? You're going to pray about, oh, Yahweh's going to bless me. Well, meanwhile, you're over here robbing your kids. Really? Or you're living a lie? If you're living a lie in this process, how can you look at your kids and say, you know what, I'm doing the right thing? You're asking them to carry your sins onto the next generation when you do that. You really are. We're going to change that. We're going to show you guys how to break these family curses, okay? I'm going to show you how to put things away so that you can focus on your walk with Yahweh, focus with your families, focus on your marriages, guys, okay? You know what? Love your wives more than you love them tomorrow. You learn to love them more and more every day. Don't just put it on a card and say, oh, look, it's on the card. It must be true. No, no, no. You got to have performance. And this is one of the things we're going to be talking about in the UCC class is performance. And when you understand how performance works in all this, you'll understand why people like Brandon Joe Williams telling people to do these little sign over, do these special little endorsements on your contracts and sending them over when they haven't performed yet. When your contracts haven't performed and you're trying to cash them, that's fraud. That's securities fraud. And people are going to jail for that right now.
Lots.
And this is happening. Carl was telling me about, he's a former state trooper, and I know we've been meaning to get him on the call, but he's always stuck out in the cornfields. He is. I'm serious. He's like little children of the corn out there running around in his little thing. No, they stay up all night and they harvest fields, and that's what he does. And I guess, how much Bob Denver can you really listen to out there? I guess I don't know, man. But anyway, he's hard to get a hold of, but he's been keeping up with what's going on with the Brandon Joe Williams people and what's happening to these people. Because notice nobody's talking about the free cars anymore. You remember a few months ago, Brandon Joe Williams and all these people, look, I did it and I got my free car today. And he's over there telling, oh, look, so-and-so got their free car today. So-and-so got their free car today.
And how many went
and all those people are getting their cars repoed and they're all suffering right now. Every one of them. Not one of them did that process and has a car.
I believe that.
I do.
I believe it.
I do. And I do. And I've been driving it for 2 years and nobody's taken it back from me yet. So that must mean I must be doing something right.
You must know what you're doing.
I invite you guys to jump in this class. I have one seat. Okay. The cost for the class, it's $475. If it's too much, you know what? Keep flipping. Because that means everything's too much for you. Wait till you see how much gas is going to go up to. It'll be too much too, I'm sure. I'm saying, look, man, you're going to be in the class for 6 hours. You're going to get all the templates. I'm going to show you how to open your bank accounts. I'm going to show you how to set things up for discharge so you can discharge, so you can get a $27,000, $30,000 more or even more return. This is how this whole discharging debt's supposed to work. It doesn't mean that we don't have to pay our bills anymore, which is what some people think.
Yeah.
What it means is that we have a path that we can take our stuff to and we can cash this stuff out.
Help.
You remember when they used to send us our checks? You remember that? They would, after your checks went through, they put them all in the envelope, big old thick envelope, and they'd send them to you in the mail. Remember that? Well, we were supposed to be sending those back to the IRS. You know that there's 2 transactions on a check? There's what's in the box, the part that you write, and then there's that numeric part that you also write. So we have it written out, and then we have a numeric representation of it, okay? The difference is the numeric representation is in a box. The written representation is on a draw line, signature line. So that means when that check goes in, that first part of it that's in the box, that's what you get. The other part of the check is the written part, and that's what the bank gets. And now, because of years of us not sending these things back to the IRS, now they've placed that responsibility back on to our banks now. And if you go to your bank and you look at the little pile of stuff that's next to the TT&L window, what's the TT&L window? Tax, treasury, and lien. I know your teachers aren't telling you any of this because they don't know, but I do. It's tax, treasury, and lien window. And it's that little short window that looks like a handicap window when you walk into your bank. That one has a very, very special little register there. It doesn't look like anybody else's. And it's because that guy is tied right to the treasury. All of your withdrawal slips, all of your checks, all of your the little things that you signed to go get a cashier's check, anything that you signed and that they wrote a dollar amount on, all that stuff got monetized or is getting monetized, and it goes through the TT&L window for them to cash. Why? because we weren't doing it. We weren't doing it. After 1965, people stopped doing it. And I remember in the 1980s and 90s seeing it happen and go, what's all this for? I didn't know.
So what about the digital part?
What about the what?
Like the digital part of banking?
Well, there's that is a big part of it, because that's how it manifests. What happens is equity has to move according to witnesses. Okay. So what happened? You signed it in front of the bank person, huh? And then the bank person, being a representative of the treasury, says, yep, that's what I saw happen. And it went over here and they put it all in, and then they get funding and it comes back. Another place that you'll find a TT&L window, the post office. Yeah, think about it. They got the little low window too.
They do.
And all the packages go through the TT&L window there too to get paid too. That's why they want your whole name and everything. If you like put it in if you go to the little kiosks out there and you have to do like priority mail or something, that's why they want to know the sender's address and the mailer's name and address. That's why they want to know all that, so they can run it through the treasury and get paid.
That is crazy.
But don't think that they're ripping us off. Don't get excited, because I know everybody, oh, that's it, they're ripping us off. Look at all this that's happening. Oh my God. No, man. That means these streets are wide open. That means if we can do it, if they can do it, we can do it.
That's right. Wow.
Come take my class. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to run through the TT&L window. I'm going to show you how to cash your contracts. You guys that are leasing out there, you got rental contracts. I'm going to show you how to cash those too. You bet. This is the class that will set you up for success. Okay. I've already done it. Okay. This is not, oh, let's just see if we can all get out together. No. I'm on the other side and I'm waving at you guys, and I just want to invite y'all over. So if you guys want to do this, one seat, it's $475. And if you think it's too much, you can't afford it. Okay. But if you trust yourself enough and you trust your aptitude enough to know that you're going to listen to this and you're going to get this, you're going to figure out how I retired at age 45. I'm about to turn 53. In July, I'll be 53. So once I learned this process and I figured out how to operate, what I did was I created my own job. And my job is to manage and operate my trust. That's my job. And if you're really good at it, you get to drive really cool cars and you get to have stuff. And listen, we don't own anything anyway. Jamie, we don't own anything. Those of you guys that think you own your homes, home ownership is real here in Texas. No, home ownership is a lie.
You won't ever.
You're just renters. You're just renters, okay? At the end of the day, you're renters. And here's what the renters have over the homeowner. They can monetize their leases every year and cash them full face value. Wow. The homeowners, they can't do that. They're just paying rent and cutting the grass and making sure that the house is all one color so it looks good with the rest of the neighborhood. True.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Everybody needs to understand this, because it's where we need to be. We need to get back to
and this old way of thinking of, the man on the land, and even the right to travel. You hear all this, but I'm not doing commerce. Well, you were when you went and got gas at the gas station and a Nutty Buddy and a pack of cigarettes. Some of y'all, shame on you, that you were doing commerce.
Yes.
So you can't say that just because you're in the middle of the street that you're not doing commerce. The gas in your tank, the oil sticker on the top left of your windshield, all of that says you were doing interstate commerce on the road in your vehicle. End of story.
Yep.
So how come nobody's explaining this?
Because they don't want to.
Well, there you go. Because they don't want to and they don't have to.
It would be too easy, or it might take away somebody else's thinking that they think is correct, which is not.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I think that there's a real agenda to keep people in one lane, Natasha. You know what I'm talking about? Like I've been trying to break people out of the David Straight movement and the state national movement for the last 4 years. That's the whole reason I even came out public in the first place. Prior to this, I was private, and there was a few people that knew who I was, but not many people knew who I was. But I came out because of what was going on, and Jamie and I years ago we did an interview about that, so you guys can check that out if you want to. But what I'm saying is I came out because of that. Okay. I came out of, I don't want to say I came out of hiding, but I mean, I came out publicly because of all of this. And I'm going to tell you, through my accounts getting blocked, through them getting shielded, and you'll hear these people talk all kinds of nonsense, but the minute that I say, no, this is wrong, and it's wrong because of this, and this is wrong because it's wrong because of this. And one of these things, I'm always really good at explaining myself and why. So, and then people interpret that as, whoa, he's just being really hard and mean on everybody. I'm really not. I just don't like it when people lie to the public. I don't like it when somebody stands up there, beats on his chest, and tries to empower people with a bunch of stuff that's going to make them fall on their face.
It harms
them.
What?
These are, look at, we were talking about her today. Kayla and Kayla, what's her name? She was one of David's students. I mean, she's really talented. I just sent you her thing. Yeah, and Kayla and Colby Fitz, her husband, decorated war veteran, good man, 3 tours in Iraq. Okay, that, I mean, and he came back, and he came back with everything. So that's pretty darn good. And this guy was in infantry, and he fought hard for our country. He really did. He saw his friends die around us. He really went through a lot. And because they got bad information, these people were publicly humiliated. They were publicly ran out of town, and they destroyed them. I mean, they really tried to destroy them. I'm going to tell you, Kayla's a pretty strong person, and I believe she'll come back no matter what. But nobody should have to do that.
Well, no,
nobody should have to fight that hard to be right.
Just when David Straight was going down the path he was and trying to tell people, this is the right way and blah, blah, blah. That's when I was talking to you because I was so irritated.
You were torn.
Upset because I watched so many people listening and cheering him on, and I'm thinking, and you're paying him to do this to harm you, and for what purpose? What are you going to gain from it? Look at me, use me as a tool to see the process.
I'm saying
because when I learned, I was being used, and I was only a tool for him. And then I stopped before I went any further with that because I was wise enough. You got to say to yourself, if you feel something's not right, wake up from it, because you better educate yourself, because you are responsible for you. Nobody else.
Exactly. And you can't blame anybody but yourself.
So when you wake up and you go, oh my gosh, all these people are being harmed. And you just, to me, I was on this thing where I was going to go stop and try to tell everybody, don't. But then I realized, I can't force anyone. I can tell the world what I know and show them, but it is not up to me.
No.
But I will continue down this path of helping anybody that wants to wake up and say, can you tell us? We're willing to listen, because that's my calling. And to help
learn. You can learn a lot from her. Really can. I've learned a lot from over the years.
Disheartening, I think, because we are a world full of disillusions and manipulation. And the only one we better reach for is the highest of the highest, because that's all we got. And we came in this world naked, and we are going out of this world naked, and we go with nothing but what we leave behind. And that is, hopefully, I pray for everybody that we leave this world with some dignity and teaching for good things, not bad. We are only to treat your neighbor as good as you would yourself. Because honestly, these David Straits and all these, Bonnie's still doing stuff today, from what I hear. And I'm so sad. I'm sad that that's where she feels, after everything she's been through, she needs to stand still. It's not going to go well.
When things started really popping off with Houston County, and things were really bad. I mean, they were beating me up. I was being thrown in jail and arrested for no real reason, and just going through a lot. I actually stepped away from the movement, stepped away from everything, because at this point it was time to see if everything that I've done works. And here's the proof. Am I still standing? Am I still here? Bet your butt I am. And am I out of gas? Not even close, baby. Not even close. And a righteous man will always get back up. But the ones that do the other ones, they go down and they stay down. You know, it's really true. Hey, Natasha, what are your thoughts on any of this? You've been quiet over there. Pull you into this.
I've been enjoying y'all too. Yeah, I mean, I love the UCC class. It's the foundation. It's, you know, learning about your straw person, learning about the living person, how to separate, how to contract, and, you know, what steps that you're actually taking when you're using commerce, when you're not, you know, and, you know, you mentioned me building a house and stuff, and there's a lot of things with me just building a house with contractors and dealing with them. And I'm like, what's your EIN number? They're like, how do you know about that? And what are you doing? You know, so there's a lot of hidden things that because I stay private, they're like, you shouldn't know all this, but I do, you know, and they're like, okay. But I was like, if you want to get paid, you're going to give me this number, you know, because I'm going to discharge it and, you know, get the money back and so forth and all that. So there's yeah, and then, you know, I'm always contracting and getting quotes and doing this and that and the other, and I actually enjoy it and have fun with it. But you know, it's you're starting foundation, and you can go this way, learn how to build houses. You can go that way and just learn to be completely private. You know, put your vehicles, put your house in there, and then like you were talking about, if they can't see what you own, then they can't do that manipulation on you. You know,
Right.
But
Well, they don't know
you
how
know,
to handicap you if they don't see what you own.
exactly, you know, and my children are actually having a hard time in there, and I'm trying to get them to understand and get in that mindset of a trust. And I told them, I don't own this. I said, this truck was paid for by the trust, this truck and this house and, you know, all the things. I said, but you do realize this is y'all stuff as well, being my beneficiary. So if you need to borrow it or you need to do this, then you're more than welcome to. And they're like, huh, that's kind of nice. You know, but all in all though, it's you know, if you're starting to wake up, and I hope that everybody is listening to Tim, and he's been in the movement for 9 years. All of his processes work, you know, but this is where you really need to dig down and understand what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you know, go from there. And, you know, Tim's never just going to leave you out in the cold, even if you have problems or, you know, have answers after the class. He's going to be there for you, make an appointment with him, and he's going to help you where you need. And that's one of the good
That's
things
a
about,
promise.
yeah. And that's one of the great things about having him as a friend and as, you know, and of course, we love your Sundays on pastors, you know, Bible studies.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. Yeah.
That's so
But
awesome.
just,
That's so
you know,
awesome. Yeah, I love it. I love when she does that. It's so good. But it's
yeah.
true. And well, you know what? We've reached our 7 o'clock mark, and you know, we're probably gonna close out tonight. But you know what? I want to encourage you guys, check out say it again, Jamie, what is it? Esquire.ai, right?
Esquire.ai.
Esquire.ai. Esquire, I keep saying it wrong. Esquire.ai. It's because I'm retarded. I don't know. Sometimes I feel retarded. Anyway, but you know what? Or you know what? Go to my webpage, houseofyah.communityoutreach.com /workshops. Set an appointment with me. If you've got something going on the legal side, I'll flip you over to those guys and let them help you out. And if you need help with preparation, anything like that, I mean, the preparation, it's like between $30 and $75 for any kind of emotion. And then if you get past pretrial and you get into like where you need interrogatories and stuff like that, it kind of goes to a different rate. But things change just a little bit, but not too much. You know, it just depends on how much or how deep you get into your case. Here's what you're not going to need. You're not going to need $90,000. And you're going to understand your case. You're going to know what's going on in your case. And you're going to have that peace of mind that Jamie was talking about. You're going to have that understanding. And when you walk in the door, you're going to know exactly how everything is done. And in a lot of cases, you won't have to, we're going to show you how to shut these things down really fast. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and it's embarrassing how many hours of court experience I have. And I'm sure Jamie could say the same. But I want to thank all of you guys for being here tonight. Jamie, thanks for being here. Big hugs from Texas. Sending them to you. And Natasha, big hugs to you as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I hope you guys get your power back on. We'll be praying for you tonight out in Louisiana. Let's hope that they do okay, because we just can't do this without Natasha. So we're just glad that you're here. And if you guys are interested in jumping in the class, I have one seat left. Call my office tomorrow, 210-605-0144. I may make an exception and open up another seat, just depending on who it is. Veterans, you are encouraged to please call and jump in this thing. Ask questions, okay? I'm happy to help you. Be happy to talk to you tomorrow. Be well, everybody. I wish you guys a wonderful and blessed evening. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.